Welcome back to the podcast. So excited about today's topic. This topic is all about the mindset shifts around money that are going to make you a millionaire, or at least support your journey and expand your consciousness into millionaire thinking, right? And maybe it's just planting a seed that maybe you want to become a millionaire. Maybe it's not as hard as you think. I want to expand your mind around it. And so we're going to dive into how millionaires think, and I'm so excited for that. Now, next week, we're going to talk about why this matters. Why do I feel so driven to help women become millionaires? And this is a spark that has been ignited within me within, I guess, probably the last couple of months. And it just feels so strongly within me. And it's also why the Becoming a Millionaire Mastermind has become born, I guess, or is becoming born later this month. We are launching it, me and Julia Carlson, and we're going to help an intimate number of female entrepreneurs become millionaires, like literally setting up their mindset, their strategy, their business, their investments so that they can become millionaires. And it doesn't matter if you want to become a millionaire through the channel of your business and you want to scale your business to $1 million, or if you want to scale your net worth and you want to learn ways that you can multiply money. Even if you're not making $1 million a year, it doesn't mean you can't become a millionaire. Because let me define what millionaire is. A lot of people think it's just making $1 million a year. That is not a millionaire unless you have a net worth of $1 million. Because a lot of people make $1 million a year or even more than that, but they don't hold any of it, right? Or they're in debt, or they have, low profit margins, or they reinvest that money back into their business, which that's also a strategy, but it doesn't make you a millionaire just by making $1 million. So when I say we're going to talk about what it takes to actually become a millionaire, it means to have a net worth of $1 million. And yeah, that's basically assets minus debt. Is that $1 million? And I'm so excited to teach you how to do this. We're going to just walk through the mindset shifts today. Me and Julia have a masterclass on becoming a millionaire. So I will link that up in the show notes so that you can sign up for it. Also, if you feel deep in your soul that 2026 is the year that you really want to kick off this journey and you want to become a millionaire and you want the hand-holding and the support and the coaching that helps you accelerate the process, I want to invite you to apply for the Becoming a Millionaire Mastermind. We kick it off later this month, and it is going to be so powerful because you have me doing the majority of the coaching, and I really specialize in identity and mindset and energetics of money and going deep and doing subconscious work around money that helps you feel safe holding it, helps you believe it's possible, helps you get into the place where you feel safe doing this. And then we have Julia Carlson, who is a masterful strategist. She is a business and wealth strategist who has done that for 25 years. She has helped businesses go from 6 figures to 7 figures to 8 figures over and over. So she knows the strategy of scaling and multiplying money and creating 8-figure wealth, right? So you get both of us together in this mastermind, and it's our first time ever doing it. And it's 6 months of really incredible deep work on this, where we are going to hold your hand and help you become a millionaire. So whether you want to do it by scaling your business, or you want to do it by scaling your business and then learning to invest and multiply that money, or if you just want to learn how to invest and learn how to create the net worth of $1 million, that's what this mastermind is for. And the fun part about it is that in June, as a kind of graduation ceremony, we are all going to meet up in Maui, and we have an amazing Maui retreat planned that's a total bonus. You don't have to come to this. It's a totally optional thing. It's kind of just a fun celebration. So if you can't make it, that's totally fine. The mastermind in and of itself, the 6 months together, is where all the magic is going to happen. But then you get that bonus retreat as well. So I'm going to link the info for that in the show notes. And if you want to apply, I would encourage you to do it now. This is our first time doing it. We don't know if it's the last. We don't know if we'll do it again. But what I do know is I'm so thrilled to have Julia teaming up with me because, oh my gosh, is she amazing. And I feel so grateful to have both of our strengths coming in to support these women. So go ahead and apply if that is something that you want to do. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about the mindset shifts that will help you become a millionaire. The first one is it's simple, right? I really want you to consider that what if becoming a millionaire is simple? I know so many of us have been taught that it's hard to make money. It's hard to create wealth. It takes a lot of struggle and hard work, but the opposite is true when it comes to millionaire wealth. It's actually simple. It's math plus identity, right? The math is all about expanding your assets, reducing liabilities, increasing income, and learning about this, right? It takes some education. We were not taught this in school. That is why I've got Julia teaming up with me because she is going to help the women in the mastermind learn these skills. So it is something that you can decide to invest in and learn, and it will have the highest ROI you've ever had if you learn to invest and you learn how to be with money and learn how millionaires think, how billionaires think, right? How do rich people think? What do they do? What are their strategies? If you start learning those things, it's a lot simpler than you realize. And I have so many clients who have decided to open a new channel of wealth and say, hey, I want to learn trading, or I want to learn real estate investing on top of my business. I want to learn how to multiply my money. And they have had massive success. It's like opening a whole new channel for wealth to flow through on top of your income or your business, right? So it really is just math. And when you think it's simple, it's just math. And side note, you don't even have to be good at math. It is just math. You can use a calculator. Like me and Julia were talking about it, and we said it's so funny because neither of us were good at math in school, yet both of us have created amazing wealth and teach this stuff to people. So it's math, but you don't even have to be good at it. Grab a calculator and just learn these skills. They're skills that don't have shame that you don't know them yet. You can learn them. Now, the second piece, I said it's math plus identity, and that's its simplicity. So the identity piece is where I specialize. This is what I am really good at helping people with. And I do think it's the missing piece a lot of times, right? Because you have to learn how to see yourself as the kind of person who becomes wealthy. A lot of us unconsciously do not see ourselves that way. I know I didn't. It's because we didn't see it growing up, or maybe we weren't taught that I'm the type of person who becomes wealthy. We think it's this thing outside of ourselves, but the truth is it's not. And there's no reason that you can't do it. And it really is a choice to decide, I want to see myself as someone who can become wealthy. Right? I want to become a millionaire. I'm choosing to become a millionaire. It is a choice that you get to make. But it does oftentimes take untying some old, outdated, limiting beliefs about money. Things like it's wrong to make that much money, or I should feel guilty, or if I'm making that much, I'm taking away from others, or I'm afraid that everyone will leave me, right? There's these deep-seated fears and beliefs that we hold in our subconscious that do tend to block us from stepping into that identity. So that's the work that I really specialize in and help people overcome so that they can step into the identity of a high earner, of someone who has, a high net worth and feels safe in that space and feels good and feels motivated and feels alive in that space. So I like to think about it like this. Your future self is already a millionaire. So your job is just about becoming an energetic match to her. And sometimes that is the identity work. Sometimes that is learning some skill gaps, understanding how to start setting intentions with money, learning how to start looking at money, learning how to reduce your liabilities or increase your income or expand your assets, right? I know all of this sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's so much simpler than you think. And this is coming from someone who is like not school smart. I really am not. I did so bad in math. I did so bad at all of my tests. Like if you saw what in the Midwest, we took an ACT score. Mine was so low. I was like, I'm never going to get into a good college. I could not take that test. So you do not have to be like, it's so much less complicated than it sounds. I'll put it that way. Okay, second mindset is there's a million ways to become a millionaire. And I'll say it's 1,000,001. There's an infinite number of ways to become a millionaire. So this is really important because I think a lot of business owners tend to put pressure on themselves to just grow their business to $1 million. But sometimes that isn't the highest path for you. Sometimes that's actually not aligned with your values or what you want. For some of you, absolutely it's going to be. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's go. Let's create that level of impact. But that isn't the only way, right? I actually know people who have made no more than $100,000 a year who are now multi-millionaires in retirement because they learned how to multiply their money and take little bits over time and let it compound. So there's 1,000,001 ways to become a millionaire. Think about it. Business, investing, real estate, creative income, partnerships. There's so many options out there. And here's the thing, your only job is not to get overwhelmed by this and not to get overwhelmed by the options or say, I don't even know what they are. The how doesn't matter. It will actually reveal itself once you make the choice that you want to become a millionaire. Once you decide that is who you are becoming, and that's the identity you're stepping into, and that's the desire that you have, and you're clear on that. Once you decide that, the how will start to present itself. We know that's how manifestation works, and you just have to simply trust in that. So don't get overwhelmed. Just decide and know there's 1,000,001 ways this can unfold for you. And the other thing is, don't get stuck in one pathway. Let your desire lead you. So if you feel like you're hitting a nail against the head trying to, make it happen through this one channel or this one path, what if you let go a little? What if you loosened up a tad and started to explore, what are some other channels? What are some other ways? I know I used to put a lot of pressure on myself to make $1 million in my business, and that was the only thing I was focused on. And I decided to just loosen up, focus on impact in my business, and think about other ways that I could create wealth, right? And that are also aligned with my values and aligned with me. And that's when I started investing, right? I started learning about investing, multiplying my money in that way. And then I also started investing in real estate and did really, really, really well with that. And I actually made more money in that than I ever did in my business in a given year. So as long as you expand your mind, you could see, whoa, like maybe creating wealth is so much easier. Maybe there are some passive ways that I can do this. And again, I've had so many clients start to open that channel, not by forcing it, but by saying, I want to become available to new channels for wealth to flow in. What might that look like? What comes to me? And just start exploring it. And the how will come to you once you decide this is where you're going. Okay, the third mindset is you don't have to hustle to get there. You do not have to hustle to get there. In fact, I mean, most of the wealthiest people in the world, have they done some hustle in their life? Of course, right? We do. We put some effort into things. Of course we do. But that's not how like mega wealth is created, right? So I would replace hustle with intention, alignment, and education. Those are the three things that you really need in order to become a millionaire. Is the intention and intending that that is where you are headed, like plugging that into the GPS system of the universe, letting the universe know you want to become a millionaire. And then alignment, following your nudges, looking at what feels aligned, what's aligned with your values, not what do you think you should do, but what's calling to you. What are some ideas? Start getting creative. And then of course there's the education piece of starting to understand multiplying money. And that is something that you can learn no matter how old you are. Now, whenever I say you don't have to hustle to get there, the thing is, nervous system safety attracts more opportunities than force ever does. And I think of hustle, it's not, the way that I define hustle is when you are forcing it. When you're grinding, when you're trying to force it to happen, you're trying to make it happen by using your willpower. That's how I define hustle. I don't see taking action as hustling. Like, you can take a lot of action from the right energy, from a place of passion, desire, excitement. I see this with my husband right now. He is so lit up by his career and by his purpose and what he's doing. And he wants to put all the hours in writing music and doing everything it takes to make this happen. Now, he's putting in a lot of hours. He's really putting in a lot of work and effort, but it's not out of force. It's not trying to force something into existence. He's doing it from a place of love and passion and excitement, right? So that to me is not hustle. So it's not that you can't take action, but you want to get your nervous system in a place of safety, and you want to get yourself into a place of alignment, and then from there take action. Because effort is not the source of abundance. Alignment is, right? So that is definitely something to remember. Now, another mindset shift that really changed things for me was, instead of thinking more for me, I started thinking more for us. Now, it's interesting, and you'll learn more about this on next week's episode. So you have to chime in, because I'm going to be talking about the global impact that, have literally on the world when a woman becomes a millionaire. There's facts, there's data, and there's stats. And I'm also going to say heart-centered human, right? When a heart-centered human makes more money, it has a massive ripple effect worldwide. So it goes far beyond just the vision board version of wealth, which I think of as like G-Wagons and Birkin bags and all the things that we see on like Selling Sunset or whatever TV show you watch, right? That like, it's just like showing the glamorous side of wealth. Like, sure, that stuff is fun if that feels aligned and you have a desire for it. But it goes so much more than that, right? Because when a heart-centered human steps into more wealth, it's not just more for them, it's more for all of us, because we circulate wealth. And abundance also isn't a pie. If you think about the frequency of abundance, it's not a pie, it's a frequency that is magnetic. So it's almost like people catch it. When they're around you and you're in that state of abundance and you're in that state of freedom, people catch it. It's contagious. So it's not just more for you, it's more for everyone. And it opens up possibilities for other, because if you step into it, other people are going to start asking, how do you do that, right? They're going to open their mind. If it's possible for you, maybe it's possible for me, or maybe generations to come. Maybe your kids will see you doing it and they think, oh, well, I could do that too, or this is normal, right? So it's not just more for you, it's more for all of us. And your wealth circulates, right? You spend, you hire, you contribute, you inspire. It really has a ripple effect. Wealth does. So I want to encourage you to stop seeing it as this small, limited pie that's individualistic and think it's not just about me. This is about all of us. And when I do the work to step into this, there's a ripple effect. In fact, and I'll touch more on this on next week's episode. I know I keep planting seeds, but I've been doing so much research, and it shows that women actually give back 90% of their income towards their community, family, things that they value, and like the things that matter most to them, right? So it actually really does circulate. Women are really good at circulating wealth, and it always comes back to them, but they're circulating it, right? And they are giving to causes that matter, and they improve the world around them through their wealth. So it's not just more for me, it's more for all of us. Now, the fifth one is money is not owned, it's stewarded. Right? Which might be like, wait, what? Money is not owned, it's stewarded. And this is a mindset that I also chose to take on because it feels so much better to me than when I think it's this thing that I own and I'm holding and I have to hold on to. Here's how I think about it. You don't possess it. You direct it, you guide it, and you use it for good. Right? And this removes any shame and invites responsibility and empowerment, right? Stewardship places you in partnership with the universe. So that's how I like to think of it, is that I'm co-creating with the universe. This is not something that I own. It's like a river that flows and that's always flowing, and I can shape shift it, but it's always flowing. And my job is to steward it, to pay attention to it, to love on it, to be with it, to tend to it, to guide it, and to direct it to the things that matter most. Okay, the sixth mindset shift is staying small with just enough helps no one. Staying small with just enough helps no one. I hear so many people come to me with this thought and this objection of, and I'm not judging you because it's collectively, it is in the collective. That's why I want to talk about it, right? This is not how the millionaire thinks. This is how the collective tends to think. And it is a scarcity way of thinking is, but Jamie, I have enough. I can't want more than enough. It's wrong to want more than enough. No, it's not. It's wrong to hold yourself down. It is wrong to play small. It is wrong to have just enough because it doesn't help anyone. If it did, I'd be for it. If it helped the world, I'd be like, please, let's all just have enough. But here's the truth. Scarcity keeps you hidden, stressed, and unavailable for impact. And wealth creates room for generosity, creativity, and leadership, right? It actually creates room. It creates space for that. You are going to be able to give so much more if you have overflow. You are going to be able to impact so much more if you have overflow than if you have just enough. That is not going to do anything. Also, like I said, the frequency of wealth is magnetic. It is contagious. So if you stay in just enough, that's going to be contagious too. Like generations to come are going to take that on and see it. And, you know, it's going to stick around. The people around you are going to, right? I always think like, let me be the person who's like, instead of giving out colds, I'm giving out the frequency of abundance, right? Whenever I think of contagiousness, I think of like, what's contagious? A cold. Well, I want to be contagious with abundance, with love, with freedom, right? Let me be that person because that is contagious. So staying small and in just enough is also contagious. So don't let that be an objection for you. Don't let it be, oh, well, I have enough. Yeah, okay, but what is that doing for anyone? You can have more than enough because guess what? You're going to invite everyone else to have more than enough. You are going to invite that energy into the world and to all of those who are surrounding you, right? Your abundance, think of it like this. Your abundance is a contribution. Your energy of abundance and the actual money that you have can be a massive contribution. Especially the overflow when you have more than enough. You cannot contribute when you have just enough. It just doesn't work. So overflow is a generous thing. Seventh mindset shift is this is bigger than my lifetime. I love this thought. This is bigger than my lifetime. It's not just about me and my family and my little world. This is about how the wealth affects my family, my community, and future generations, right? It goes beyond this generation. And I think about how that could be, I mean, the truth is I don't have kids, but I do have family members. Some of the people that have vowed to give all of their money away at the end of their life and have the Billionaire Pledge, which is basically giving to causes that really matter, are people like Bill and Melinda Gates, Warren Buffett, Mackenzie Scott. So awesome. It goes on for generations past them. So the identity shift for you is you are playing a long-term wealth game, not a short-term survival game. And it goes for generations to come. Okay, the last and final mindset shift is there is no moral badge in earning less. So I invite you to challenge the belief that working harder is more virtuous, that earning less is more noble, that struggle is spiritual. And I want to invite you to replace it with these truths. Ease is not laziness. Wealth is not greed. Abundance is not selfish. Abundance is simply matching the frequency of your desires. Your desires are a roadmap from your higher self, not something to guilt yourself about. So remind yourself of that. It's a roadmap from your higher self, the highest frequency of you, the you that is aligned with love, not something to guilt yourself about. Okay, so I am going to summarize this episode for you with the shifts that will help you become a millionaire for sure as you lean more deeply into this. And side note, this is an episode that you can listen to over and over again if you really want to rewire your consciousness around money and start thinking about this in a deeper way. So to close this up, let me just invite you to think about this. Becoming a millionaire isn't a hustle. It's an identity you grow into. It's not about taking. It's about circulating, expanding, and contributing. When one person raises their wealth consciousness, we all benefit. I want you to imagine your millionaire identity and take one aligned action this week. And if that action is joining the Becoming a Millionaire Mastermind, I want to invite you to apply. It is going to be so incredibly powerful. We're going to take these mindset shifts, and this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. You're going to learn to really implement it, to really see yourself as the version of you who can make $1 million and contribute in such a beautiful way. You're going to learn and be educated on what it takes to become a millionaire from our amazing Julia Carlson. So I want to invite you to apply if that is calling to you for 2026. I would love to support you. And if not, keep listening to this episode because eventually it's going to land for you. And eventually you will absolutely get there. You will become a millionaire, and it's going to be such a beautiful thing for the entire world. All right, I'll see you next week on an episode where I talk about the global impact more women becoming millionaires is having.